people of the town were so taken with Paul and all that he had done with all the kids.
Paul and Mary had been invited to dinner to a restaurant in town. And they were like, okay. So they show up at the restaurant, and the restaurant had sold out because people had heard that there were different members of the town getting together to talk to Paul about this great experience that was Pinocchio. And this gentleman stood up and said, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, we want it, and we think you've got it.
They said, if we build you a theater, will you stay? I'm sure he thought, no, there's no way they would do that.
Supporters formed a corporation, and Girl Scouts soon were selling stocks on the street. Businesses and families invested, and children saved jars of pennies to buy in at $10 a share.
They raised about $100,000 that way.
Paul Crabtree was sort of like the music man, except he didn't leave with the money.
But the $100,000 was only half the money needed. The Playhouse took on a mortgage, and with it, major risk.
The financial burden that they must have faced, which I'm sure was terrifying back then.
The interstate did not even exist yet. A section of our main town, our main street, was not there. You know, it was an old back road to get to what is now the Playhouse. And they were able to build our 500-seat auditorium.
He had left Hollywood. He had left Broadway. And he had found a friendly, small town in which to raise a family. He was trying to build something from scratch.
That's miraculous to me. They built a Broadway house in a year.
Beginning with blind organist Johnny Bridgeforth, the Playhouse opened its doors and the community. Importing talent from beyond the plateau brought diversity.
I met Jim Crabtree in Memphis, Tennessee, where my theater was founded. And lo and behold, his mother showed up.
And my parents were, if you'll pardon the expression, liberals.
And she went back and said, looks like he's doing the kind of stuff we need.
There were no Black people in Crossville, none.
And no Hispanic faces.
Everybody said, well, I don't want to say it, but I think you've lost your mind. That's not where you want to go. And that's when I was told that it was considered a sundown town.
That refers to a sign or just an attitude at the city limits that said, don't let the sun set on your head in this town if you are not like us.
My first impression was every little town I had driven through over the years where my heart would beat really fast because I didn't know what level of consciousness I was going to encounter about whether I was a complete human being or not. And we decided to do Ain't Misbehavin'.